So, Kate, tell me, you were having a bit of a challenge around some boundaries to do with your classes. Tell me what was going on.
So I teach two weekly yoga classes with two different groups, and they're all on a WhatsApp group. So what I was doing was every week, twice a week, I was creating a poll on WhatsApp and checking a few days before who was coming to class, because I created like a minimum number of people that I was willing to teach for, which was 5 people, because I didn't want to drive and go to a class and it'd be 2 people. So every week on, a Sunday for the Tuesday and on, say, a Thursday for the Saturday class, I'd check in who's coming to class this week and then do like a little yes or no. And then they would fill in that poll. And if we only had 4 people, then I would then say, okay, well, I'll do an online class, which doesn't really work for everybody, because I've got a few people that really don't like online. So they would then not come to a class. And some of those people were purchasing monthly memberships. So it was kind of unfair to them. It was like I had this minimum number in that they were all aware of. But if there were only 3 people that week, then they wouldn't get an in-person class, which I'd feel kind of bad about, because they were purchasing a course, a monthly package. But then I had to have my boundaries. And then the other side of that, the other thing that would happen was that I'd have 7 people saying they would come to class. And then, 4 of them would cancel on the day. And then I would have to honour that class by showing up for 3 people. It's like a 40-minute drive there and a 40-minute drive back. So that would then create resentment in me that I'd shown up to teach those people. And I wasn't getting paid for that, and that I was working for a really minimal amount of money. So there was just this kind of conflict in me, really.
Yeah, and how did that feel?
Um, it felt like a chore, and energetically, it didn't feel good that I was I almost kind of felt like I was kind of hounding them, like who's coming to class, and then they were sort of rallying other people, or can you come, or I'll bring a friend, which is not really the way you want that energetic exchange to happen for yoga. You just want it to flow. And also I was using a lot of my time checking in, seeing who was coming, checking the polls, remember to look at the poll, it's pinned, that sort of thing. So the amount of time that I was spending on that just didn't seem like a good use of my energy. And then when people didn't show up for class, I did bring in a cancellation policy, but they're quite difficult to enforce in yoga, if you don't see someone for a few weeks. So there was just something that was feeling a bit sticky and a bit heavy and not feeling right. And a few times it kind of made me think, oh my God, is there any point in doing this? Is this really what I want to be doing after I've been teaching, being a yoga teacher for kind of over 10 years?
Wow, yeah. So it really got to that point where you're just like, something needs to change. This is not working. Yeah. So you came to a meeting in Valencia and we did this exercise around what drains you and what energizes you. So what happened for you in that exercise?
Well, I think I'd known that it was draining me, but just didn't know what the solution was. So when we did that exercise, it really became clear to me that, oh my God, this is really making me feel heavy. There's got to be another way. And that's when the kind of wisdom of the group really kind of helped me realize that this isn't the most effective way for me to run my business, and there's got to be some other way. And that's kind of what gave me the idea to kind of shift things up and change.
That's great. Tell me what you've done.
So I already had a few monthly members, so I sort of had a few. Um, but I decided to talk about it with some of the people that come to my class. And funnily enough, that Saturday, there were people that are kind of quite strong people and people that have come to my classes for quite a lot of time. And I sort of thought, I'm going to have a discussion with them about this and be really open. So I said, I wanted to talk about this. It's, I talked about it in the Women's Entrepreneurs group, and it's been making me feel really heavy. And they felt that too. They were like, oh my God, that's true. And one of the guys comes from Holland, and he said, in Holland, you have to pay 6 months ahead. And I was like, well, that doesn't feel right for me. That feels a bit too much. And we just discussed different ways that this could work. And I was like, and one of the girls said, look, you just need to work out what your minimum, what you need to earn per class is and how many people that is. So I kind of worked it out that if 6 people in each class book a monthly membership, so 6 on the Saturday class, 6 on the Tuesday class, then I've made like not a lot of money for a yoga teacher, but I've covered, I've made like €45, which covers my petrol. It's a fair price. So even if one person comes to that class, six of them are paid. They've paid their monthly membership. And then when people drop in, and I do get quite a lot of drop-ins on the Tuesday class, and people that decide on the day they want to come, then that's like a Brucey bonus. So sometimes now on a Tuesday, I'll get 5 extra people, which is like an extra €50. But they're not my concern. All I'm focused on is the monthly members. So this month, I did have to do a poll, and this is going to be my last poll, to see who wanted to commit to the monthly membership. And straight away, I got my number that I needed. I got an extra one in one of the classes as well. And actually, it's just made me feel it's just easier. I had that little bit of icky who's coming, and a few of them were saying, look, I'll pay more. I really want the class. I think it kind of fear of lost them a little bit, that I was creating this boundary. And if we didn't get those people, and yeah, a few of them said, look, I'll pay extra just so that we can have our class. And some of them that I didn't think would pay monthly have paid monthly. And it's just it feels much easier now.
That's so awesome. I love it. Like even the way that you talk about it, it just, I don't know, there's just so much more lightness to how you're describing it now. So tell me going forward now, you've got like a new system and it's like clearer and simpler and it just feels like better.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do next month, so that we're not doing it on the group, is at the end of the month, I'm going to check in with the class and see who wants to do the monthly membership for the following month. Because coming into the summer, it can be quite tricky, but then your drop-ins can go up because people are bringing all their family and friends. But I'm going to stick with it. And then at the end of this month, the last week of the month, just say, look, I just want to check in who wants monthly membership for next month. And then I might do one thing online just so that they kind of have, so that they're clear on who wants to book. But I feel like the kind of fear of losing them a little bit with the class has made them realize how much they want the class. And also now I've got more time to think about other things. Like this month, I'm offering my members like an additional class, so they're getting like an extra moon circle that they wouldn't have got. I'm offering them that. And also I can be more flexible. So now, like some of them who love the classes, if they want to do 2 classes in the week, I don't really mind because I've kind of made my money. So it's like I've got other people coming, and that creates more energy because people like coming to a busy yoga class. They don't want to come to a class where there's 3 people. They want that energy. So it just feels like it's kind of flowing a bit more now without me having to kind of have that conversation and without having to worry. And I'm just kind of hoping from here that things just grow and it becomes quite easy and quite organic. And I just kind of show up to teach without having to think about all of that kind of other stuff.
That's brilliant. I love it. It's just coming from a completely different place, isn't it? Like that energy, as you said. And what has it taught you, or what have you learned about boundaries through this process?
Um, I think I think you have to be quite courageous to create boundaries, because at one stage I did think, oh my God, I think I'm going to lose. And a couple of the guys did think I'm going to lose one of the classes because the people just, I didn't think that they would commit. So I think to almost in myself accept the fact that maybe I would lose a class, that maybe I would, but something had to shift, because this heaviness that I was feeling was just not energetically good for what I was doing. So I think that it took a little bit of courage to do it. I think it took a bit of a change in perspective and, self-belief as well, that, that I am worthy and that my classes are good and that no one else teaches like me. No one in the area kind of does what I do. They teach differently, and they all really love that. And I think this has made them realize how valuable their classes are, and that if they can't make that commitment, then they won't have a class.
That's really lovely. What would you say to someone else in the group? Maybe they're experiencing something similar. What would you say to them to give them some confidence to change something that's feeling heavy, but they've got the fears, like you describe, fear of things changing or fear of losing clients or customers, but something needs to shift. What would you say to them?
I think you have to really, really sit with it yourself and really, feel into like your what feels right for you and what feels right for your heart. And I think be open to the acceptance and open to that kind of inner listening, that if you're getting a no, then that's what you need to listen to. And if you're feeling a yes, then that's what you need to listen to. And I think so often we just kind of go through the motions and we don't really listen to that inner voice. And I think if you kind of sit and have some quiet space and really feel into, what do I want to feel? How do I want to show up? And when I go to something, how do I want to feel? Do I want to feel that I've kind of bullied people into being there? Not bullied, but you know what I mean? Like, who's coming? Okay, well, I don't really want to come to class, but I will. Or do you just think, well, if you want to stay in bed today and you don't want to come to class, stay in bed. It doesn't matter to me. All I know is that I need to have my value for me. And that value needs to be, I need to have earned a certain amount of money, because that's an energetic thing for me. And if I show up for €10, then I'm not going to feel good about myself.
Yeah, totally. It's so powerful, those things coming together, like you said, like those several, the it's that self-worth piece, isn't it? It's just so powerful. Because it's not like rocket science what we're doing. It's, you're describing, a system. It's fairly simple, but it's not about that, is it? The hard bit is valuing yourself, really putting that boundary in place and having the courage to do that. Yeah, it's great. Thanks so much for sharing, Kate. It's been really great to talk to you. And yeah, let us know how it all goes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for your lovely meetings, because they have really helped me so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.